Today I will compare and contrast 3 low price, high value utility knives available today. So those of you that not only use a pocket knife at home, but at work as well, will not want to miss this video. Hey, I'm Jay, and if you're looking to buy a knife and you need to see what it's like first before you drop your hard-earned money on it, here's what you got to do. Click on subscribe so I can help you, and remember to click that bell notification so you don't miss a thing. The qualifiers for each knife to be in this video have to be at least $30 or less price tag, lightweight, which would be 3 ounces or less, backlock, and decent blade steel. And when I say decent, I mean like 8CR and up. The knives I selected today, the first one is going to be the Buck Bantam. This is model number 0285. Next, the Ka-Bar Dozier, model number 4062. And the last one is going to be the Cold Steel Tuff Light, and that's model number 20LT. First, we will start with the facts, and then we'll get into my opinion. Now, you are probably noticing the 1, 2, and 3 up at the top of the screen. What I'm going to do is, so for each category, they will be ranked. So I will be changing the order of these 3 knives based on whatever category we're talking about at that time. So fact number 1, we're going to start with the overall length. And actually, this is in the exact ranking. The Bantam is the longest overall at 7.5. The Dozier is then second at 7 1/4 inches long. And the Tuff Light is third at 6 inches. Blade length. Again, they will remain in this position. Buck Bantam, 3.125 inch blade. The Dozier has a 3 inch blade, and the Tuff Light is 2.5 inches. Blade thickness. Again, exactly this order. Buck Bantam at 3.05 millimeters thick. Then the Dozier at exactly 3 millimeters. And last will be the Tuff Light at 2.95 millimeters thick. All 3 of these knives share the exact same blade grind, which is hollow. Next is going to be the handle length. Again, the ordering will be just like this because it's going to be the Bantam at 4.375, the Dozier at 4 1/4, and then the Tuff Light at 3.75 inches. Handle thickness. This is where we're going to switch things around. The thickest handle is the Buck Bantam, and it's at 0.50 inches. Next is going to be the Cold Steel Tuff Light at 0.48, and last will be the Dozier at 0.40 inches handle thickness. All 3 of these knives pretty much all use the same type of handle material. They just assign different names to them. So like the Buck Bantam is going to be the glass reinforced nylon, so GFN. The Dozier will be Zytel, and the Tuff Light, polymer, basically plastic, all 3. As you can see, they each have a pocket clip, but believe it or not, the Dozier is the only one where you can carry the knife in your pocket tip up for righties and for lefties, because with the Cold Steel Tuff Light, it is going to be just tip down only for righties and lefties. The Buck Bantam is just one position, tip down, righties. They all are manual action as far as deployment goes. The Buck, you will utilize thumb studs. The Cold Steel will be the thumb hole, and the Ka-Bar, thumb studs again. Thumb stud, excuse me, one. This is the only one that is actually manufactured right here in the United States. These two are both Taiwan. For the weight, the Dozier is actually going to be the lightest at 2.3 ounces or 64.6 grams. Then next is going to be the Buck Bantam, and that's at 2.4 ounces or 67.7 grams. And finally, the Tuff Light is the heaviest, 2.6 ounces or 72.7 grams. For the price, these two share very, very similar price. They're both between, I have found, $20 to $25. The Tuff Light being the most expensive at $25 to, I've seen as high as $30. Now, this little guy is the only one that features a forward choil. The other two do not. However, the Buck Bantam is the only knife where the blade has a stone-washed finish. The other two have that high gloss satin. Now, all three of these are offered in a few different variants as far as like blade color, handle color, and overall size. But the Buck Bantam has the most options available to you. They have three different sizes: small, medium, large. This is the medium. And there, again, are many different handle colors. Next comes the Dozier, which you can get in two different sizes, the mini and the standard, and this, of course, being the standard. Also, you can get a DLC black blade and many different handle colors. The one with the fewest options, the Tuff Light. It does come in two sizes, mini or the standard. This is the standard one, and they do have a couple different handle colors, but also you can get a serrated version of this blade. All three utilize a lanyard hole. So if maybe you want to remove the pocket clip, attach a lanyard and just kind of drop it in your pocket loose, you can do that with all three of these. The Ka-Bar is the only one that is offered in a thumb hole version as opposed to the thumb stud. Now, the Buck Bantam, this is the only one of the three that features pinned construction. So you are unable to disassemble this knife. You're unable to make any kind of adjustments, cleaning it. You just have to try and clean it as it is. The rest can be taken apart. Before we get to my opinion of each one of these, I just want to quickly remind you, click on that subscribe button if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. And I would love to hear from you guys. So sound off in the comments if you feel that there is a knife that should have been included here and which one of these should be excluded. Just let me know down in the comment section below. For one-handed operation, I would rank these knives just like so. So the one that I felt was the best to be utilized with just one hand, the Cold Steel Tuff Light. So if you kind of press on the back lock, you can actually get it, to drop, and then you can close it all with one hand. I mean, you're able to close this with one hand as well. It's just not as easy. I mean, it's easy. I just felt that the Tuff Light was a little easier. And the last one, the Buck Bantam because sometimes I have to give it a couple shakes to get it, and then I can get it to close. But again, they all work and function fine one-handed. The smoothest operation, so the one that you're able to deploy and close the easiest without any kind of like grittiness, and it's going to look like this. The Tuff Light, actually the Tuff Light and the Dozier were so close. Really, you could say that these two have the smoothest operation, but the Bantam definitely has the worst. It is just extremely gritty. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Probably not, but to open and close. And it's pin construction, so can't take it apart. What are you gonna do? Blade play. The knife out of the box with the absolute most amount of blade play is going to be the Buck Bantam. Again, can't fix that. And next is going to be the Dozier, and that I really had to wiggle it just to get like the slightest tick in there. The Cold Steel, none, rock solid. The grip comfort, so the one that is just the most comfortable to hold, and I went with the best one, the most comfortable, being the Tuff Light. And a lot of it has to do with that forward choil, and if you look, the handle, I mean, everything is nice and rounded, just super comfortable. And the Bantam was actually next, because if you look, they're not really contoured, but they're not just flat scales. Not really any sharp edges on the handle, maybe on the inside, maybe. And the least comfortable being the Dozier, which really is not, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not all that uncomfortable, but, you know, one of them has to be number one, and then one of them has to be number three. So the traction, so the grip traction is going to look like this. Dozier being number one, and then the Tuff Light, and finally the one with the least amount of traction being the Buck Bantam. And a lot of it has to do with that texture on the scales of the Dozier. Yeah, oh yeah. I like, just your hand is going to go nowhere with this, to be honest. The deepest ride in the pocket. This one again was really close, and I want to show you guys. The Buck Bantam was number one. If you look at the pocket clip there, you still do get a little bit, you know, so you can grab onto. Next was the Tuff Light, and you can see there. and the worst for pocket ride being the Dozier. It's not, I mean, it's not awful, but it leaves the most amount of handle sticking out of your pocket. Widest in the pocket, I'm sure you can already tell how this is going to go. Tuff Light being the widest, then next would be the Ka-Bar, and the Buck would be the narrowest of the three in your pocket. Now, I am not gonna form any kind of opinion or make a comment on the blade steel, because there are just so many variables, and really, is there honestly a right or a wrong answer? I mean, the Buck Bantam is the only one that has the different steel with the 420 HC, and then these two both have the AUS 8 blade steel. I mean, to be completely honest, you can't go wrong with any of these knives I've shown you here today. Really, it's going to be a matter of preference. So if I was able to help you out on picking your next knife for work, hey, would you please go ahead and leave me a thumbs up.